That wrong. Hi guys. How's everybody? Good? Everybody in? Everybody's in? Good? All right guys. Hi, I'm Deputy Caudello. This is my canine partner, Canine Sherry. I'm not going to have much time to do a lot of stuff with Sherry. I'm going to do a little bit and then do a question and answer because things are moving really quick. So she's a 3-year-old Belgian Mal. She's from Germany. She's one of the 6 dogs that we have that are assigned to the courthouses or any dignitary work or anything that happens where they need an explosive sweep, which that is we clear the buildings prior to anyone arriving for concerts, schools, venues, to make sure that there are no explosive items in the venues. I'm going to show you a little bit of what she does when she locates something in a minute. She's 3 years old. She's from Germany. We've been together about a year and a half. We've done some dignitary work. We haven't done too much work. Prior to having her, I've been in canine 9 years. My retired dog, we did 8 years together. We did Super Bowl in Miami. We did Panther games. We've done a lot of dignitary work, so we're used a lot. This is a place box. This is something basic that we teach the dogs to stand on while we're talking, while we're doing something at home or anything. And anybody could do it at home if you want a dog to be on a couch or somewhere where you're busy working something. You teach them to put, it's called place. I'll tell you how she can get off. You're free. That's the word to get off, is she'll get off. So I'll give her a treat. Place. That's all she knows. She hears that word, she's going to get on. People say, well, how do you know she's going to get off? I'm going to show you why she won't get off. Place, place. See how she's pulling back? She's telling me, I'm not getting off. Why? Because she didn't hear the command to get off. You're free. She got off. Free. Watch. Place. That's the command to get on. Place. You can make place anything, a rug or anything at home. I'm going to give it the command to place. She's not going to want to get off. Place, place. See how she's pulling? She says, no, I'm not getting off, Dad, because you didn't give me the command to get off. You're free. She got off. That's a little thing. Very simple, but it takes time. So let me see what she does here. Place. Good job, Mommy. You're free. Let me move this up because she's going to want to get on. Come. Here. Here. Come. Spin. Spin. Ready. 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 Heel. And so back. Back. Here we go. Spin. Spin. Center. Ready. Ready. Sit. 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 Sherry, come. Center. Good job. Good job, Mama. Good job. That's basic OB. It looks easy, but it's a lot of patience, a lot of repetition, and consistency. So that's just a little something that's a game. Now I'm going to show you what we do when we sweep something. Somebody said the sweep earlier, which was amazing because she's worked with different agencies. If I was to come in here and you guys are having an event, dignitary, somebody very important, you guys are important too, if your school says, can you sweep this for our students? I'll come in and say, okay, I got to sweep all this, all upstairs, to make sure there's nothing in here that could harm you, me, or anyone else. I'm going to show you when she finds something that has an explosive odor to tell me there's something there that's going to harm me or you. I'll show you right now. If I was to come up here and search, I would give her the command to search. Seek, which is seek. She's searching. As you can see, she's searching. She's searching there. She's checking the chairs. Searching the chairs. I'll come over here and search this. I'll make sure there's nothing here. I'll search here. I'll search up here. Bring her around. I'll search here. He's telling me something there. See? She won't move. Inside that laptop is explosive odor called PETN. It's that cord that's used to create an explosive odor. So, as you can see, how many laptops will you see coming in out of school? How many laptops will we search at a courthouse? Looks normal. Somebody could be sitting there. Oh, by the way, I got to go to the restroom. Leave the laptop there. Looks normal. But inside that laptop is something that can cause something to blow up. So they can find it anywhere it's put. We start with a simple box, and we move on to vehicles, laptops, luggage, boats, wherever they can hide something, we train the dogs to locate it. Drop. Do you guys see her? Drop. Yes. I'll bring her over here so you guys can see her. Come. I'll let her play with it. Drop. Yes. Drop. Yes. Drop. Yes. Just a little game. Any questions? Anybody? No questions? No. Yes.
What kind of treat are you giving her?
This is where we start a dog before they know anything because it's got that value of reward. Turkey hot dogs.
Can I teach my cat to do all that?
You can teach your cat to do whatever you want. You gotta have a lot of patience. We can teach chicken to do a lot of things, even pigs. If you see it, it's possibility to teach any animal. Whales, you see them at SeaWorld. Horses. There's a lot. Yes, ma'am.
Did you start her initially, or did she come trained and then did you do it?
They come green, what we call drop. Wrong. Leave it. Yeah, hang on. Place. Good girl. When we purchase a dog, they're called green. That means they don't know anything. Sometimes they come with a name. I doubt that they even know their name. So, which is good because we want to teach them our way, not someone else's way. And the handlers usually are green also, which they'll learn together to become a team. And that's what you want. You want them to grow together, learn together, make mistakes together, so when they're out in the real world, it's that gel. That's why our dogs come home with us. They're with us all the time. Before we start the academy, it's a 3-week bonding period that you are with your dog only until the academy starts. Just get that bonding. Yes?
If someone else saves the signal, will she like?
No, she won't. It's amazing. It's like my voice. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of time when you're training someone, the trainers won't take the dog from the handler unless you're doing really bad because they want the dog to understand that it's only you. Because again, with real life scenario, that dog is only going to see you and yourself in case scenarios go really bad. So that's the bond is very important. Yes?
Thinking if you record your audio voice and then like broadcast it onto like some type of drone, can't
That's a good question.
Can't that mislead the dog and then like
Yes, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, that's a good question because when I'm on vacation, my retired dog at home, because I have a retired dog at home that we did 8 years together, my wife put him on speaker and he knows that's my voice. I can actually tell him to do something and he'll listen while I'm actually not even there because of my voice. So yeah, they do remember voices. Yes?
Let me get a mic to you. Who raised their hand? Is she friendly?
She is. Yeah, once I get done, while I'll still be here, you guys can pet her. Yeah, she's very friendly. Not many of them are, but she is. Yes.
1 second, let me get a mic.
can I please pet your dog?
What was the question?
Can I please pet your dog?
Pet the dog? Yeah, after, absolutely. What's up, buddy?
What's her name?
My name's Deputy Cardello, Corey. Her name's Sherry. Yeah, like Sherry pie.
Any questions on this side? Any questions on this side?
How long does it take to train the dog to be able to differentiate different smells?
Good question. The academies usually take 4 months. If you're a handler that already had a dog prior to your dog, you can do it in 3 months. But if you're a new handler with a new dog, it could take up to 6 months because sometimes it's not the dog, it's the handler has to catch up with the dog. So it could take up to 6 months. A patrol dog, which is dual purpose, the ones that you see out on the road apprehending people, their academy is up to almost a year because they have a lot more other stuff that they have to do prior to coming out on the road.
How is the person selected to be a handler?
Good question. It's an interview process. You have to have a couple years road patrol experience. You can't have no IA. You can't be in trouble. And then you do an interview process with canine sergeants and handlers, and then they'll see who's the best candidate, and then you go into the academy. The only thing with that, like I tell everybody that is a handler, they think it's easy. They see us walk around with a dog. There's many even now that graduated. They didn't realize what they got themselves into, because she's with me 7 days a week, always with me, always at home. I gotta feed her, take care of her, make sure nothing happens to her, because she is an asset of the sheriff's office. I am responsible for her care, but everybody's taxpayers' money this is your dog right now. It's not mine. I'm just responsible for her well-being to make sure everybody in this county is safe. So that's a big responsibility. Even when they're outside, you got to make sure they don't get out. You got to plan your vacations around your dog. So it's very, very 7 days a week. Your job doesn't end when you're in canine. So it's.
Right,
Yes.
excuse me. Are pit bulls like the most common dog to be accepted into those type of patrol duties, because they're not really, that type of breed isn't really accepted among a lot of people?
The pit bull breed. The pit bull breed is just what you hear and you see about the media. I know friends that have pit bulls, even a canine trainer that has a patrol dog and it has pit bulls. And what you seen her do, his pit bull does. It's all who owns it. It's all how you treat the dog. It's just like anyone else. You want to be treated with respect. The dogs are the same way, but they got a bad rap around the country. And yeah, can they be aggressive? Sure, she can be aggressive too.
Michelle.
It's just how you treat the dog.
Michelle.
Yeah, buddy.
In your opinion, what is the most dangerous breed of dog to you?
The most dangerous dogs? Breed? I hear that the chow is very, very dangerous. That's what I hear. The chow is very aggressive and good. But again, that's just for what I hear. I'm not sure. I've never owned one, but I hear the chow is. Yeah. Yes. I do. What was the question? No, they don't interact. It's a good question. When they're actually working, how many of you have dogs? A lot of you dogs. How you treat your dog, I can't treat her like this. She's a working dog. Her mentality is work only. So she only interacts with me at home and work. That's it. She doesn't get any squeaky toys. She doesn't get any little, things that most dogs get, because the mindset is work. She sees this reward that I gave her only when we're training, and there's another ball she sees when she's doing cardio. But that's it. Her mindset is work only, and that's what she's in the kennel, she's out with me, she's in the yard, and she's in the truck working. That's all the activities she gets. Now my retired dog, he's a brat. He's running around the house because he don't have to work anymore, but he still has rules. So that's the only thing. You have to separate regular pet and a work.
So,
How do I treat him? He got a little more freedom. He eats a little bit more, because they only eat once a day. They only eat when they get home. It's a strict meal, strict food. My retired dog eats twice a day. He plays around with toys. He's on the couch. He does what he wants. But she doesn't. Doesn't mean she don't get no love, but it's a strict rule of what we do with our work dogs.
so is the dog considered an officer?
She is, yeah.
Okay. And then what exactly is she trained to do? Is she
Explosives.
trained explosives?
All she searches for is explosives. She's a single purpose, which means she has one job only.
Okay.
The dogs you see on the road that are apprehending, they're dual purpose. They're apprehensive, narcotic, apprehension, or explosives. They do
Okay.
2 jobs. She's the only does 1 job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we get scratched and bit a lot. That's part of the academy and that's part of the job. Because again, you see how excited she gets. She may not mean it, but the dogs get excited when they do certain things. So getting bit is part of being in canine. So you're not going to be in canine and not get bit. That's just part of the job.
Do dogs feel emotions?
What's that? I didn't hear it. Yeah, they do. They do feel emotion. Yeah, they got feelings and they feel pain just like us. Yeah.
Thank you,
That's it?
Deputy.
Okay. Sorry, guys, I gotta go.
He'll be here to pet
I'll
afterwards.
be here so you can
He'll
pet
be
her.
in the back
And
so
if
you
have
can
any more
pet
questions,
afterwards.
I'll answer them over there. All right, Skipper.
You all get to pet Cherry afterwards. All right, so now we're ready for our athlete panel. If we could get Dan Levine, Mike Rumpf, Billy Thompson, Sean Thompson, and we have some added guests. Our own Judge Corlo played for the Gators, Go Canes, so he's going to come up. And our own Josh, just take a seat. No, sir. Josh Steuben is also here. He played for FSU, still Go Canes, and he's going to join us as well.
Hello? Hi, good to see you again. We met briefly last year at the players' reunion weekend at the campus. Sean Thompson, yes. And good to see you again. I was out of town. I couldn't make it last week. Yeah, I heard.
Very interesting.
When,
So we're waiting for the video to switch over. It's been a long day. Thank you guys for being part of this panel, being part of this day. I think you're all of the panelists are features, but sometimes because of your profession, you all make this a little bit more intriguing. So thank you for spending your time with us. Ready? Yeah, wait. Yeah. And then I'll go with you and I'll tell you what's next. Dwight Stevenson couldn't come today because he was at the NFL draft. He still made one of the selections for the Miami Dolphins, but he did grace us with an interview, so that's what we're going to play first.
Dwight Stevenson was the guy who did some of the things that you just go, whoa. To me, Dwight was the best center I've ever seen. He's one of those guys that if you stood in a line and you were shopping for groceries and you saw him, you go, there's no way he played. He was maybe 250 or something. But he did have exceptional quickness. What Dwight Stevenson could do was take his exceptional quickness and make phenomenal decisions in a millisecond. That's what the game's all about. It's your ability to make a decision under pressure. But the characteristic that set him apart, and it's only a few guys have it. Anthony Munoz had it, Dwight Stevenson had it. He could take what you have and use it against you. If you tried to play him a little flat-footed and read him, well, then he'd get a quick step on you. If you tried to play him with power, he'd take a step back and take all of your power and neutralize it. And if you tried to play him by being more of a finesse guy, well, then he was strong enough to be able to use a combination of what he had to beat you. He would do some things to some players that you just watch the tape and you'd feel sorry for the other guy. I'm poor Fred Smerlis up in Buffalo. And Freddie was a heck of a player. The tough, hard-nosed, Pro Bowl player. Dwight would make him look like a 5-year-old. I mean, it was embarrassing. And I'd call Fred and he'd go, I don't know what he did it again.
Dwight Stevenson's subtle brilliance didn't prevent him from being recognized as the game's premier center. He was named All-Pro 5 straight years. But as he was entering his prime, Stevenson's career was cut short by a knee injury.
We were playing the New York Jets. We had the game pretty much under control. We were trying to run the clock out, and we had like 6 minutes to go. And the running back, Troy Stravik, took the ball, and he starts to the right, and he fumbles the ball, and the defensive back picks it up and starts toward the goal line. And I took like 2 or 3 steps, and somebody hit me, and when he hit me, he just caught me totally off guard, and I got my leg caught in an awkward way. But I didn't think my career was over with that night. I thought I would play again.
It's like Gale Sayers. What he did, no one else could do. The only thing you'd like to have seen was a longer career so you could enjoy it more. Dwight was amazing.
It's my true pleasure to unpack my journalistic skills and interview family friend Dwight Stevenson from the Miami Dolphins. Thank you for agreeing to participate in the inaugural and anticipated Next Gen Summit. You planned to be here live, but the Miami Dolphins asked you to select one of the newest Dolphin players at the NFL draft, which is also occurring today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. The draft is going to take place this year in Pittsburgh. I'm excited to be a part of it. It's an important part of the football operation, bringing players in and then getting them indoctrinated into the Dolphin culture and whatnot. So I'm excited to be a part of that. It's very, very important that we get the right kind of players to get involved with the Miami Dolphins.
So students, if you're curious about what it takes to make it into the NFL, and particularly into the NFL Hall of Fame, we have just the person. Dwight, can you tell us what the role of character and integrity played in your journey to becoming an NFL Hall of Famer?
Right. Character is something that's very, very important. It's something that my mother and father always kind of impressed to their children, telling us how important it is to be, not do something to embarrass your family, do the right things in life. And then when I left home, went down to the University of Alabama, played for the legendary coach Paul Bear Bryant, and some of the same things that my mother and father had taught me. He continued to teach us that as young men, and then playing for Coach Don Shula here with the Miami Dolphins. He wanted good people around him, people that have character and so forth and so on. So it's something that is very, very important. It's something that's been stressed to me all my career.
We all make choices, tough choices in life. Can you share a time in your career when you faced a difficult decision and how your values guided you?
Yes, Yeah, we all a sum of our choices. We all make choices and decisions as we come along and we go. Something that if you make the right decision, and don't be afraid to make decisions and stuff, but you got to try to make the right decisions and so forth and so on. And most of the time, if you do that, if you're trying to do the right thing, that's the most important thing, that you're trying to do the right thing. Because not all the time you're going to succeed, not all the time you'll be successful with it. But as long as you're trying to be successful, that to me is winning. That to me, in the long run, you will be successful.
Striving for excellence isn't just about winning on the field. It shapes who we are. How did striving for excellence, both on and off the field, impact your personal and professional growth?
Yeah, again, like my parents back home, I mean, they insisted that we always try to be the best at whatever we're going to do, whatever we did. If you start something, they had certain sayings and stuff. If you start something, you got to finish it, and you got to do a good job. And and the same thing when I got to Alabama. It wasn't like, believe me, things were not that easy there and stuff. But when I trying to play at Alabama, but I never did give up. And if you stick with it and that sort of thing, and a big part of winning is just sticking with it and not giving up on it. Knowing that it's going to be some tough times, knowing that things might not always go your way or go the way you think it should go. But if you're sticking with it, I mean, you're winning just by sticking with it. And then from there, I went on to the pros. And I mean, playing for Coach Don Shula was, he was a guy, a real sticker. Character was very, very important to him. Us doing the right things and not cheating along the way. We're not going to cheat. We're going to do things the right way. And he insisted on that. And so I had some great coaches and great people around me.
It's great coaches, great people, and just your own great character seems to be a combination of all of that.
Well, thank you. You got to surround yourself with good people. That's very, very important.
For sure. Peer pressure is real. Sometimes making positive choices isn't easy. What advice would you give to students today about making positive choices, especially when facing peer pressure?
Peer pressure is huge, and I'm not going to tell you that it's not. But you're going to have guys or people that are going to try to influence you to do something that's not right, and but you're tougher than that. You recognize when the right things, you will recognize, know what's right and wrong. And if you feel as though it's not right and it's not right in your heart, don't try to get away with it this one time. Just do the right thing. You guys are the best. Don't feel as though you have to adjust or play the game the way that someone else wants to play it. You know how to play the game. Just play it the right way. Do the right thing. You are the best. And, and you'll win the majority of the time.
Peer pressure will keep you from getting to those dreams. Tell us about chasing your dreams and how courage plays a role in that.
Well, looking back on some of the times when I could have made a decision that I felt I knew was not right, but it kind of like maybe I thought I might have been able to get away with it one time, get away with it that time. But I'm glad, thank God, that I didn't. And I'm not going to say that I was not a perfect child, a perfect human being growing up, but I did, I think for the most part, try to do the right thing. And I can remember one time where some of my friends, it was like three of them, and there was two twins, and they weren't bad guys, but they would do mischievous things. And the other guy was kind of like, he was a little, he kind of mischievous too. And they wanted to go and punch somebody in the face. And I said, at that moment when they started talking that stuff, I'm telling you, I just kind of like staring and start walking home. And they were calling me chicken and all that. And I'm like, you're right, I'm chicken. I'm going home. And I did. I left them out there. They didn't get in any trouble that night that I know of. But anyway, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Something might happen to whoever you're trying to attack or do something to, and I don't want to be a part of this stuff. And they called me chicken, but I was okay with that. I'm going home. And I did that. So I'm proud I did that time.
How can
Billy Thompson, remember him? He was one of the doctors of dunk for Louisville, and he's taking two basketball. 1-2, we got them both. That's a 1-2 punch if I ever saw it, Billy Thompson. You hear the crowd cheering. He, of course, of the Miami Heat, a local favorite.
The world that we live in was meant to be filled with our dreams. And I go around telling people, listen, you matter. Your dream matters. Because if not, we would not be wired to dream dreams.
The Cardinals have won the national championship.
Say our team came to play today when the chips was down, when we needed to pull it out and play hard. We did it as a team, and we've done it that way all year.
Went and played for the University of Louisville, won a national championship. Then I got drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers, and what an awesome opportunity that was.
Rookie Billy Thompson, new to the pros, new to the LA lifestyle. Billy has had to make some adjustments.
I do miss home. I have a lot of love back there and a lot of love for me. So the people out here I've found are very open-minded, and they're pretty much serious about what direction they're headed in. We see it all the time all around us. And when we see that there's such a big world and we're a part of it, why not give birth to your dreams?
I played with Magic, Kareem, and got there and we won 2 world championships. I got a phone call from Miami Heat saying, we picked you first in the expansion draft. Out of all the NBA players available, I was the first one they picked.
What are you seeing among this current crop of players where we can help them utilize their platforms a little bit more?
They still can make changes. Their voice has to be heard. Players are the ones that are making the owners the money. The players are the ones that's doing the hard work. And when they speak up, people do listen. All these organizations, they know that they need to make changes. Our voices as players will help make that change.
Dreams are meant to be shared. And when you share those dreams, there are people around us that are waiting to help us reach our dreams. Thank you.
Billy, can you raise your hand for everybody to see you? Thank you, Billy Thompson. Dan Levine serves as a principal wealth planner in Boca Raton, Florida office. He is responsible for developing and cultivating client relationships. Prior to joining Cerity Partners, Dan served as an estate and financial and wealth transfer specialist at Kaplan, Krause, and Levine, LLC. Dan attended the U, where he earned his Bachelor of Science degree through the honors program and a Master's of Science degree. While at the university, he was a member of the 1991 National Championship football team. He went on to receive his Juris Doctorate degree from Rutgers Law School in 1997. Mr. Levine serves on he is the past chair of the Professional Advisory Committee of the Jewish Federation of South Florida, South Palm Beach County. He served as the Federation Men Chair at Broken Sound Country Club and was a board member of the Federation's Metro Division, as well as a member of the UJC Young Leadership Cabinet. Mr. Levine was a past chair of the University of Miami Citizens Board and is a founding member of the university's Professional Advisory Committee for Estate Planning Giving Department. Previously, Mr. Levine served in a leadership role for the university's Hurricane Club. He also serves on the Professional Advisory Committee of Boca Raton Regional Hospital and Anti-Defamation League. He is a member of Mensa, really means he's smart, and was a graduation speaker with DARE program, mentored young athletes, and assisted in numerous civic and philanthropic endeavors. Dan formerly practiced law as an estate attorney and is currently a member of the New York, New Jersey, and Florida bars. Mr. Levine resides in Boca Raton with his family, with his wife and 2 daughters. Mr. Levine, if you would raise your hand and greet the panel. All my canes are here. Mike Rumpf is the Director of Recruiting at the University of Miami, where he plays a key role in shaping the future of Hurricane football. As South Florida native, Rumpf was born and raised in Boynton Beach, Florida. He attended Atlantic High School before building a standout career in Miami. I also heard he went to Carver Middle School, so all your Carver kids, go raise your hand. As a player, Rumpf was a cornerstone of the Hurricanes' 2001 National Championship team and earned all conference honors in both his junior and senior seasons. His success led to being selected in the first round of the 2002 NFL draft by San Francisco 49ers. Rumpf later returned to Miami as a cornerbacks coach, helped leading the defense that set a program record of turnovers in 2017. He also is a major impact at high school levels and head coach at American Heritage School in Plantation, where he won 2 state championships in his first season, along with 2 track championships. A member of the UM Sports Hall of Fame, congratulations, and an Iron Arrow honoree, my life's goal, Rumpf continues to invest in developing student athletes both on and off the field. Mr. Rumpf, please raise your hand. I don't have a formal bio for this gentleman because I've known him pretty much most of my life, Mr. Thompson, and I met as a freshman at University of Miami. He played football at the University of Miami. He was a linebacker. He is really smart too. He was a mechanical engineering major. I could barely spell mechanical and engineering, but that's his major. He decided not to go the professional football route. He is a financial planner. He's not even a mechanical engineer. He is now a financial planner, very successful as a financial planner, and I'd like to introduce my friend. All of these gentlemen are good friends of mine, but I'd like to introduce Sean Thompson. Please raise your hand. I am blessed to work with the gentleman in the second to last seat. He is the ghost at the circuit because he's always working, but nobody sees him. He is a county court judge in our Delray courthouse. He is the administrative judge, so he runs the Delray courthouse, and he runs it magnificently. I've recently been assigned to Delray to be under his leadership, and it's very wise. He went to the University of Florida. He played football there. He played football there, and he is a special guest, and I'm thankful that he impromptu came on the stage to share his wisdom. He is a very wise man. Judge Reginald Corlo. And last but not least is Josh Dubin, who I had the pleasure of meeting as a judge. He is a phenomenal lawyer, and he also played sports. He donated all of you. You should thank him. All of those, that notepad and pen that you got when you registered, that's Mr. Dubin, and that's what he donated to facilitate this presentation. So you should give him a round of applause and thank him for that. He played baseball for FSU. But nonetheless, he is a phenomenal human being, and I'm grateful to know him. So, gentlemen, Dwight kind of started it off. I want to start with you, and anyone can speak. Tell me about some of the tough choices you faced, either in your athletic career or in your professional career, and how that leading with integrity led to you making the right decision. And anyone can jump in.
Wait, repeat that, please. I'm sorry.
How making tough decisions, either in your college or professional career, what those choices were and how you used integrity to make you make the right decision, help you make the right decision. All right, you don't know the questions. Let me go to someone. Mr. Thompson, elder, Mr. Billy Thompson, can you answer the question? Because you were hesitating, Mr. Thompson.
Oh, no,
Are you ready?
I could respond.
Okay, please respond.
No, absolutely. So what comes to mind for me in general is self-integrity and being honest with yourself. Because there's always, I believe, that there are always going to be moments where you've got to make a choice and you've got to decide what you're going to do or not do. And your compass, hopefully, is one that's in a big way set on right from wrong. Hopefully, we all, as a proverbial, better. As mom would say, don't do anything that's going to embarrass yourself or the family. And so whatever those moments may be, whether it's in your personal life or in school, with your friends, extracurricular activities, playing sports, etc., but when you run into a situation and you got to ask yourself and be honest with yourself, what's the right way to do this or what's the best way to choose this so that you're on the right side of right from wrong. And I believe that most people, at least for the most part, know the difference. And the moral story is, are you doing more good for yourself and the people involved, or are you doing more harm? And then lastly, we all never know everything, and so even in those situations, when you don't know or you're not sure, then ask someone, you know, and never let it just be, well, I wasn't sure and I didn't know, so I just went ahead anyway, versus just asking someone and getting some help.
Good afternoon. Just get everybody up and going. I know y'all had that good meal and it's cold in here and it's dark. Well, let's wake it up, guys. We want to give you guys some really good information, and hopefully you guys can take one thing from us. So I'm Mike Rumpf, all my Carver guys, what's up? You know, good to see you guys. And Atlantic, all my Atlantic guys. And just in your life, you're going to go through so much. I would like to tell you guys that be who you are. You know, have your goals and your aspirations. You don't have to be your parents. You don't have to be your brother or one of your friends. Be who you are. And people are always going to put you in a situation where they try to, like, I've been through things in my life that people want to keep me down. And it's my goal to show them, like, look, I'm going to surpass that. I'm going to make it even better. Just because they won't let you sit to that table, just keep showing up to the table. That's the one thing that you got to do. Keep showing up. No, you can't be. I'm going to keep showing up until I'm supposed to be at the table. So just know that I love to talk about downfall and how you build yourself back, because that's the reality of it. There's so many people with different accolades up here, and we could talk about championships and being an engineer and having that success, but we've been through a tremendous amount of downfalls. And I think at your age, you guys feel like every mistake is the end of the world. In reality, it's not. It's going to make you who you are. It's going to make you bigger and stronger and better. So you don't lose, you learn. So don't feel too bad about the setbacks that you guys have at this age. Understand that you're stretching yourself mentally and making yourself better, and you're going to come back even stronger.
Hey, man, I can think of a situation when I was in high school. I grew up in Camden, New Jersey, mostly black area, moved to the suburbs when I was about 8 years old and grew up in the suburbs. And so I had some friends, and a couple of them, you know, a few of them were white. And I remember my high school, there was a race riot that took place in the high school, and there was a lot of pressure for me to stick with just the black side. And I was saying to myself, well, I have these white friends, and even though I'm threatened or, you know, to, you know, get with my black friends to leave these white friends, I said, I have to stand with these guys because they're my friends. So I'm not going to let this racist spirit cause me to go against what I believe is right. And so I went to school, I saw them, I would go up to them during this, you know, time of this racial riot and all this difficulty that was taking place in school, and I would just show up with them, still be there with them. And I think that's important, that you learn to stand on what you believe. Whenever you're presented with something that's coming against what you believe, remember to just stand.
So when I was in college, I came from New Jersey and I ended up in Miami, and I had some really good friends on the team. And when I was a sophomore, there was a gentleman in the administration who basically said to us, if you lie about something, we can give you a check for extra money. And it was about $5,000, which today is a lot of money. Yeah. And basically, you know, I was like, wow, $5,000. I mean, today that was like $20,000. So imagine someone just hands you this money just for telling a small lie. And I remember I called my dad and I told him about it. And my dad just said to me something. He said, you're not going to do it for many reasons. Number one, it's dishonest. Number two, the truth always comes out. There's always a judge, a priest, or a rabbi, or an imam who's watching. And number three said, if you get caught, you're going to ruin your life over this. But I was one of the few people, and they're aware of what happened with the team, that actually said no. And it really worked out well because, of course, fast forward, everyone who did it got caught. People got in real trouble, went to jail. But I was clean, and so were a lot of other people. And the lesson to be learned is not don't do it because you're going to get caught, because you will. It's don't do it because it's the right thing to do.
All right. Thank you. You have this. All right. Right. So I don't even remember the.
Tough choices.
Tough choices. All right. So, look, everybody's got a story, okay? Because we're all different. And I would say I could tell you a lot of stories because I've lived long enough to live and create my own stories. I'm going to answer the question of that every one of you, like every one of us here, you're going to face failure. And the biggest challenge that most of us face is how do we overcome the failure? It's inevitable, especially as an athlete. I'm sure, like many of these gentlemen, I woke up every morning in college and asked myself, why am I here? What am I doing to myself? And my ego would jump out and say, because you're a superstar athlete. And I say, ego, please sit down. Go back to where you came from. My experience, like many of these gentlemen, was painful. The game, whether you play football or basketball, it's mentally draining, it's physically draining. And you got to ask yourself, that is a wall that you got to answer. The wall of, hey, you don't want to do it, get out. There's a door. Coaches will tell you every morning, every day at practice, you don't want to be here, we'll find you. We know who wants to be here and who doesn't. And just so that you understand, what's tied into the game is your academics, because we're on scholarship, usually, most of us. So, overcoming the challenge of tough, difficult moments will always be how you are measured when you go to college, particularly when you go to college. Even if you don't play a sport. If you play a sport, that's in addition to your academics. But if you're just going to be an academic person, you want to go to law school, you want to go to med school, you want to take those hard, difficult science classes, engineering classes, and depending on what program you go to an Ivy League school, go to the University of Florida, they have a great engineering program. Miami's a great medical program. It is designed to kick you in the teeth. All right? The weakness in you will be tested. And you'll have to make a choice. Will I continue to endure the academic difficulties to achieve what I want? Or if I'm here on an athletic scholarship to continue to achieve the athletic scholarship, you will be faced with that question regularly. And those of us who sit on this panel, and we can flash a ring, everybody got a UM ring. I got a Florida ring, and it ain't on my hand, though, as my wife's got it. Yeah, well, no, don't boo us. You know, we're great. Don't, don't. There we go again. See, I opened up a door. My point to you is the reason we're here is because we took the tough challenges. We took a tough path. This wasn't easy. It's not easy winning a national championship. It's not easy losing one. I've lost one. All of it is hard. Academics is hard. Life is hard. Relationships are hard. Look around you. We have worlds that can't get along. Relationships are hard. We got people within families don't get along. Relationships are hard. These are the challenges that you will bring to your college. And you will have to deal with, how am I going to overcome that? So you will be measured by all of these difficult challenges. You'll have to figure out how you can overcome them. I had my way, this gentleman had his, and the next one, so on and so forth. You can do it. We're no special than you. We put our shoes on one shoe at a time. I don't know, my UM guys might jump in y'all's shoes. I'm from Florida. We put ours on one at a time. I'm sure so do you. That's just a simple way of saying we're all the same, okay? Thank you.
That's an easy act to follow. You know, when people talk about these words like integrity, they kind of, they're hard to define. I think the integrity that you owe is to yourself. And my path to playing college baseball was, when I was done with my senior year of high school, I had one offer, and it was to play at the University of North Florida in Jacksonville. And I did not go there. I wanted to go to Florida State. And I was told, you can't make it. You can't go play baseball there. It's a powerhouse. They have a walk-on tryout that's close to 400 people, and they have 2 roster spots. And my biggest problem was that everybody was telling me I can't, and I started to believe them. And I had one conversation with one person that believed in me that lit a fire to let me believe in myself. And I put myself through hell. From the day I graduated high school to the day of this walk-on tryout, and I somehow developed this self-belief. I missed one day when I had 103 fever that summer leading into this walk-on. And I went in there, and I got one of 2 roster spots, which put me as a bullpen catcher, which means I didn't play much. In fact, I didn't play at all. But the pride that I took from making it to one of the best college baseball programs in the country led me to take a little time off after my freshman year. And I said, well, I've walked on once, I'm going to try it again. And I made the independent league and played a summer of professional baseball. And my story didn't end like the rest of these folks up here with the national championship. But what I learned through that process was that same drive, that same desire, that same, I don't give a shit what anyone says to me. I'm going to go to, oh, sorry. I don't care what anyone says to me. I'm going to keep, as Mike said, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up because I never wanted to live with regret. And that is the worst emotion you can ever have. And I can tell you that I have faced that same you can't do it mentality. I spoke to many of you. I do wrongful conviction work. It's 90% of what I do as a lawyer. And I have been told time and time again, you say that this person's innocent, they have been convicted, they've been in prison for decades, you're not going to be able to change minds. You can't. I've gone into the whitest communities in places where the prosecutor was white, the prosecutor that took their place is white, the people running the review unit is white, and they would all say, how are we going to change these minds? And I took it as, okay, this is just like you can't make it on that baseball team. You can't, you can't, you can't. I think that failure is fuel. I think that everyone that doubts you is fuel. So if I could leave you with one thing, you're going to be told you can't a lot, and then you're going to doubt yourself. There's nothing, I spoke to many of you, there's nothing you can't do. And I'm no fool. A few of you mentioned it because of the color of my skin. I've seen people in my community accused of things they didn't do. So I look at it as an obligation to have that integrity mostly to myself so that I can begin to help others. And I think you'll find that when you act that way and you love yourself that way, your ability, your bandwidth to be able to give back to others, to help others as you help yourself, there's no better feeling. No better feeling.
Thank you. So we have a few financial experts on the panel. What is the best, but I want everyone to respond. What is the best financial piece of advice you can give to these young people?
I'll start with this. This is easy. Money goes. Save your money. That, to me, is the most important thing that you can remember, because buying expensive things when you're young instead of saving can really affect you later on. And I think it's really important. Like I said, if you really don't need it, don't buy it. And again, it's really hard because you go online and you have Amazon at night and you have everything else at your fingertips. So just be careful and just be smart and make good decisions about what you need to spend money on.
Yeah, I would definitely second. You got to save money. You can't spend everything you make, and you can't spend more than you make, i.e. credit cards. The moral of the story is a person who makes $75,000 a year and only spends $50,000 a year is much better off than a person who makes $500,000 a year and spends $600,000 a year. You got to spend less than you make, and it is advisable to learn or invest in the stock market. Because when we all work a job, you trade your time for a paycheck, a salary. You trade your time for income. In the stock market, you don't have to trade your time to grow your money or earn more money. You buy a stock, you invest in the stock market, and whether you're awake, sleep, sitting here now, I mean, the market's closed, it's a weekend, but the moral of the story is you can make money without trading in your time. And in the grand scheme of things, your time, your health, your loved ones, your religious, those are the most important things. But you just need to be smart, not spend everything you make, and just understand that you hope to retire someday, and you still will need an income. So you need to pay yourself now and save it and invest it so you're planning for your future income when you'd like to retire. Because I've never met anyone who wants to work their whole life. So don't spend it all, save some and invest some.
Anyone else want to chime in?
I would say for you guys' age group, and like he just said, investing, but invest in your education, right? Learn about money. Learn about the stock market. If you guys put $50 away a month, you can go buy a book for $50, and that's an investment where you're learning about something or you're learning about your money. You get to a certain age where, like I say, we make a financial mistake. It's hard on us because we're a little older. We can't get back on it. But you guys can fail over and over again and still be able to learn from those failures and then come back later and make that money. So I would say learn. Don't be afraid to talk about money either, because in this world, even me, I was raised where my parents like, don't talk about money. No, don't be there. Don't worry about what's in my pocket. But I've been to other places with other cultures, and it's okay to ask how much something is or how much something costs. So don't be afraid to ask about money and talk about money and invest in yourself.
And I just have to add on it because Mike is so right, where you got to talk about it, you got to learn about it, you got to ask about it. And so having gone through engineering, I've probably forgotten more math and science and physics than most people will ever learn. But having said that, pretty much everyone I know, including myself, you don't do geometry in your adult life. unless you're a pool hustler or an engineer or something like that. And not to say not to learn those things, but like I said, learning about money and learning about asking questions and all that stuff, because money and handling money is a need. And so it makes sense to help yourself and your loved ones to learn about it. And again, even if you have to ask somebody, but he's absolutely spot on learning about it.
And money is the only thing that in the Bible is connected to God or compared to God. It says, choose who you will serve. Will it be mammon or money or God? So we understand that God is who we should serve, and most human beings serve or believe in a God, a higher power, one that equips them, gave them the talent, gave us ability to do what we do. We didn't come out of our mother's womb doing what we do. Just, some of us came out because God put some things in us to enable us to do the things that we do now. But don't make money your God. Don't serve money, because if you worship money, you'll do anything for it. Some people have even went against their parents and family for money, and so we don't want that to happen to you guys.
All right, I'm going to add to that. I'm a tax lawyer. That's my background. I've spent many years litigating some of the wealthiest people in the world, okay? And I have had a chance to sit down with their accountants and their tax lawyers, and go through many years of financial reports and tax returns, and I have seen the reasons why some people become 100 millionaires and billionaires, and why some people end up in bankruptcy on a regular basis. A lot of that is a drive to want more than what you can really afford. That's why the gentleman just said, don't develop a desire to want and want and want. It's easy. Not so easy when you're broke. That's most of us out here now. You're too young. You're teenagers. You don't have a job. But when that time comes, don't train yourself to always, I gotta want shoes, I want the nice clothes, the nice purse, the nice car, the nice this. At some point, all these niceties, you'll end up broke. They did a study not too long ago. I was watching a documentary. All these people who win the lottery, they win $100 million. Most people who win the lottery are in bankruptcy in 5 years. Why in the heck that happened? I'm just looking for $1 million, and I'm set. These people winning hundreds of millions and broke because you can spend it. Had nothing to do with the money. It has to do with you and your discipline. And I want it all. A lot of athletes go broke. Why is that? They spend a lot of money taking care of everybody. And they're young. They get their money young. They get their money in their 30s and in their 20s and 30s. Well, that money's not going to be there for you when you're 60, because you've learned to spend it. Spending is a learned behavior. I was auditing a billionaire years ago, and I said, "Well, how do you get his billions?" He said, "He's learned himself how to invest and not spend everything." And I audited somebody else. Why is he in bankruptcy all the time? He hasn't learned how to save his money. What's common? Learned. One has learned themselves how to save and not want everything, and another has learned themselves to want everything. So that's what you got to understand. That's how you lose your money. You learn to lose it. I don't know if you got anything to say. You can. I'm going to do this.
I learned from a wise woman that when enough is said, say less. I got nothing to add.
So
I'll take the next.
Last question for the panel, because I know the students probably have a ton of questions for you. Each of you were college athletes, some of you professional athletes. What was your plan B, or did you make a plan B? And talk a little bit about the importance of having a plan B
I probably had the most upfront plan B because when I was a bullpen catcher, you practice with the team, and at the time I was 5'10". I've been told I'm now 5'9.5". And I realized that even though I made it, and I had another passion, and my passion was trying to influence people with my perspective, whether it was writing or something else. But I disagree with the whole notion. I know some people up here might disagree with me, but I disagree with the whole notion of never have a plan B, because then you're not totally focused on plan A. I believe in the strength and bandwidth of the human spirit. You can plan B it. And I think you should always have a plan B, because even hard work, dedication, God-given talent, sometimes that's not enough. And a circumstance will come along, and all of a sudden your course can get changed. And I tried to develop as many skills as I could without spreading myself too thin. So I think it's critically important to think about what you're passionate about and learn to get a little bit better every day. For me, it was I wanted to read as many books as I could, because I was petrified of not having enough money to support a family, because that was my lived experience. And I grew up sort of low middle class, and I never wanted, if I had a family, for them to have to go through that again. So I thought that knowledge was going to enable me to get the education that would enable me to have some sort of steady something. So it's a long answer to a short question, but I think that
It's a great answer.
invest in the plan B.
Thank you. Thanks. It's a great answer. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't have a lot to say. Have a plan B, have a plan C. There are things that are unforeseeable that pop up in our lives, and it alters our course. So you got to have more than just one plan, and always, because your plan B it really becomes your plan A at some point. I'm living my plan B. My plan A was out the window when I was early 20s. So.
You want to try to get to questions from the kids?
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely. We can get to the questions from the kids. Yeah.
If you want to have them ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
No,
Questions?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have questions?
I know the kids.
Yes.
You guys are shy?
Who coming?
Oh, for sure. For sure. No, absolutely. Yes.
Anyone have any questions?
Discipline and education.
Pardon me? Raise your hand if there's.
What's your question?
Oh, I thought you had a question. Sorry. Anyone have questions?
Ask what the most.
Yes. Okay.
Ask
We have a
what the
question.
most amount of money they make.
Wait. You have a question? Let me get you. Go ahead.
I want to know I want to know if when you were younger, you sort of had an idea of what you wanted to do, what you were interested in, and then if you got older, all of a sudden something else popped into your mind, and how did you focus on those things, and did some of those newer things, or things that you hadn't been interested in, became more of your passion, and how has that influenced your life now?
I was in middle school playing basketball at the local court. We had two basketball courts where I grew up. I was on the court with the younger kids. The older kids were on the other court. They were college players, some pro players. And I was dreaming of being over there one day. And one day I went over and they let me play, and I got beat up and all, but I played so hard they let me continue to play with them because I wanted to be over there and I wanted to play basketball. So I started fulfilling my dream right there. But after doing that, I realized that it's something I wanted to do, and I realized that dream. But while I played basketball, while I was doing all that I did in the NBA, my last year with the Miami Heat, I was traveling to different churches because I was a believer, a Christian. And 3 of those churches, the pastors came to me and said, hey, I want you to stay here. Can you stay and be a part of our church? Come on staff and be a pastor and work with our youth. And I said, no, I got a contract. I got 1 more year left to play ball. I'm not doing that. And so for me, my plan B was presented to me by God himself, just coming to me, letting me know that he's calling me to be a pastor. And that's what I am now. So that's how I came into my plan B.
If plan B didn't work, what would be plan C?
What's your name?
My name is Major. And if plan B didn't work, what would be your plan C?
Great question, Major. I'm on plan C. So growing up, education and sports were a big part of my life. And you never know how sports are going to play out ultimately in terms of how long your career is going to be. And going to, and full disclosure, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're brothers. It's not a coincidence that we're, but because he's 6 years older than me. And so I had a very good example of just the balance of school and sports. And so part of my initial planning was like, okay, well, my brother did well in sports and school, and it seemed like a lot of fun. Why don't I do the same thing? And so I followed in his footsteps in that way, football, not basketball, and took me to UM, and football, beautiful thing, getting better and better, but then I blew my knees out, and I like walking upright without a cane, so I stopped playing. But I still kept the books and mechanical engineering, so tough stuff. And so football school, then it switched to engineering. So that was plan B. And then after a while doing engineering, I started really thinking about financial aspects, financial markets, the stock market, which is something that I had paid loose attention to going all the way back to high school. And literally, I was the career changer from engineering to financial services and investing. But for me, the key, and I would advise you this way, loving sports, but the nerd that I was growing up, I loved numbers, science, math, and facts. And although I'm not doing engineering, which is all in science, all numbers and facts and science, I'm doing investing in, but it's still numbers. So my advice to you kids is that make sure you figure out what you love and what you're passionate about, because you never know how it's going to play out as you go through your life. So, because if you asked me in high school, I would have said, well, I'm going to be an engineer, or I'm going to play pro football or something like that. But I didn't know then that I was going to be a financial advisor, helping clients with retirement planning and managing a lot of money. But I love numbers, and so I challenge you to make sure you figure out what you love, because it is true, when you love something, yes, it's work, but it's not work in the sense that you get to go with passion and gusto and do what you do, take care of people, and in return get rewarded by earning a good living. So figure out what you love. Oh.
I just want to throw this in there since I'm his older brother. His investment team in high school won the state tournament in investing. So
I know we're out of time, but I'm going to ask a question, and I'm really quickly. Can I get everyone on the panels small piece of advice very quickly? What would you tell? What's your piece of advice for these people in front of us today? And we're all going to go through quickly because I know we're out of time.
We'll take as much time as you all need. Don't rush it.
We actually have 2 more questions, if you don't mind, from the audience.
Okay.
Well, we have as much time as we want.
So real quick, guys, just make sure you guys are staying awake. And I know it's tough because I sit in a lot of football meetings. It's human nature is hard. But if you're ever tired, stand up or you have those little seeds, set the sunflower seeds, have a little cup, that'll keep you eyes up. Because I know it's tough. I understand that. Real quick, I think that it's important to learn how you learn. Some of you guys have great eye contact. Some people are auditory. Some people can just listen. Y'all know those ear hustlers where they're not looking, but they're listening? Some of y'all are like that. So do I learn like that? I have to write everything down. So maybe have a little notepad to write. So once you guys get to high school and college, you can learn a lot better, because it's very hard to sit here and listen to all this stuff. So how do you learn? And then the power of visualization. You guys have to understand that you work your bodies out, but if you can see something and write it down like 50 times and say, I want to accomplish this goal, it's a good chance that you can accomplish those goals. Or make a vision board. That's how I did. Through my life, I drew pictures of myself as a hurricane. I wrote letters to my mom, who was no longer with us, that I'm going to do this, Mom. And I always wrote goals to this day. With my wife and I, we want to get a new house. We wrote it 50 times and prayed on it and talked about it as if the house is already coming. So visualize your success. That's one of the tips I'll give on my part.
Follow the people that do it well. Whatever you want to become, follow the people that do it well. On Sundays back in the day, that's when the NBA games were, and I would watch the 76ers, and I'd watch my favorite player, Dr. Julius Erving. They called him Dr. J. And then Sunday afternoon, we'd all be at the basketball court, and I'm running down, and I'm like, I'm Dr. J, I'm Dr. J. And so I kind of became like Dr. J a little bit, so that's how you do it.
So I would tell you to, whatever you're up to, and hopefully it's positive things for the rest of your life, think about it this way. Whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing, and think about the outcome that you want, the success that you want, the win that you want, and ask yourself first, is it working? Am I getting there? Am I moving forward? And if it's yes, do more of it. Beyond, if no, and then ask yourself the next two most important questions. What do I need to do differently? And either figure it out yourself or ask someone who does it well. And then lastly, and just as important, and then be prepared to do it differently. Because we've all heard it a million times, and I don't know how many times you've heard it or not heard it, but you will hear it, that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get a different result. So never be afraid to question yourself and say, is what I'm doing working? And if it isn't, what do I need to do differently?
I'm gonna take off the former athlete hat and put on the daddy hat for a second, because I have a 17 and 19-year-old daughter. And I'm gonna tell you three things. First of all, I met a lot of you out there in the meet and greet, and some of you were amazing, shaking my hand and saying your name. And some of you said your name like this. My name is Jeff. When you meet somebody, look them in their eye, shake their hand, and clearly state your name. Number two, the internet is forever. If you put something out on the internet and even comment, it doesn't go away. Be very careful. Think twice before you send or say anything. And number three, I tell my girls this all the time. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat is everybody's highlight film. That's not real life. So when you think about yourself and comparing it to them, don't compare it to that. Everybody is great, but nobody is as great as their Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook. So please remember that.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you just a quick story. We talked about earlier about how many plans, plan A, plan B. Let me tell you my plan. I went to Florida on a scholarship, and I got there, and I said earlier, Florida is one of the top engineering programs in the country. I said, man, I'm going to be an engineer. And me and a couple football players, a guy named Adrian White. I don't know if you know Adrian White. Adrian White played for the Giants, first-round pick. He was a strong safety at Florida. We were good friends. Me and him and another player said, yeah, let's do engineering. Okay, come to find out, engineering's hard, and it's too demanding for our practices. So then I said, okay, well, how about, computer science? And at the end of the day, I said, yeah, computer science is cool. This is in the 80s. Computers are still new and early. developing? I said, computer science. Sounds like a great subject, a great career. Okay, that's hard too. So then I said, well, you know, my brother's got a business degree. He's older. I know people who've got business degrees. So I said, let me go into business. And I started taking business classes. And then, but there's a class in business I couldn't handle very well. So then, you know, and I went back to my advisor and I said, listen, business ain't working out. I said, what about agricultural business? He said, yeah, sounds good. Agriculture in Florida, a lot of agriculture. So I started taking agriculture business classes, went to the dean of the agriculture. He said, there's a class you got to take. You got to take it you got to take it in the first part of the semester. I said, well, I play football. It's not gonna work. He said, okay, well, you're not gonna work here in the program. I said, okay, thank you very much. So then I went back to my advisor and he said, look, you know, what do you want to do? I said, what about politics? Okay, political science. Boom, I started taking political science classes. Next semester he comes back to me and says, you know, political science, you need so many credits, it's going to take too long for you to graduate. I said, well, tell me, based upon my transcript, what do I graduate in? He said, history. You've taken a lot of history classes, and you have a lot of good grades in history. I said, I hate history. I hate it. I said, so at the end of the day, I graduated in history, okay? My point to you is, that's plan F, okay? So don't get caught up in plan A, if that don't work, plan B, and then walk away, okay? I'm on a plan, and then look at me, I'm a judge. But that was not what I wanted to be when I went to school. So many of you will say, well, I tried this, and it didn't work, and then you go home. Finish. Get something. My dad told me, boy, you are not coming home without a degree. I said, well, how about, you know, so I ended up with history, okay? And I love history, and I love to talk about history, but that was not my plan A, okay? So finish, don't give up.
The judge is still trying to figure out what he wants to be, even now, right?
Right.
I mean, and that's for, how many of you have heard the expression, life is short? And life is long. Life is long. And you could be a lot of different things. I got weird advice in a weird place. I had the honor, privilege, and confusion of representing Mike Tyson. And when I first met him, I was shocked that I was the same height as him. And at one point I asked him, how did you convince yourself that you were going to be someone that could hang with people that were Lennox Lewis's size, who, if you don't know who he was 6'6". And he told me something that got him through, and he stole it from Bruce Lee. But it was that your mind doesn't know the difference between you speaking to it or someone else speaking to it. So what Mike said to you were profound words, and you have to hear this. If you're saying, I stink, I'm no good, I can't do this, your mind will believe you. If, on the other hand, you were telling yourself, I got this, I can do this, I am the best, your mind will believe you. And that's the first step that I took to realizing that I could do more than other people thought I could do, or even that I thought I could do. And the other little piece of advice I'd give, was it major? Keep that beautiful mind going. Constantly be curious, constantly be thinking of things that if you have a good idea, it could become a business. Do you think that the two people that started Twitter, and they sat there and said, oh, I got a good idea. We could say like 5 words and post it. That somebody said to them, that's a great idea, go for it. I represented the 2 guys that started Tinder. You swipe left or swipe right and you could date people on your phone. They were laughed at, and they just believed deeply in it. That was their thing. So don't let anyone tell you it's a dumb idea, because the guys that started Twitter, same thing. People were like, that's ridiculous. They were like, no, I think people will like these bite-sized sentences. Stay off of Twitter, stay off of Tinder, but just by example, keep your mind moving.
Let me tell you a little bit about Plan B. Judge, Mr. Levine, you just opened up a can of worms. We had 2 more questions. I would have loved this to have been the conclusion. So it was wonderful. Let me get these 2 last questions, if you don't mind, and then we'll be done. But
I thought we were on clock.
I know you were taking my job away from me. You did it. No, it was wonderful. I enjoyed it. It was inspirational for everyone. So thank you. 2 more questions, if you don't mind. Right? Melva, you have a student with a question? Really? Okie dokie. Then we have Tina Elfidel for the final question, our president of the Inns of Court, Craig S. Barnard. Go ahead, Tina.
Thanks, Miguel. Do you have any mantra or breathing exercises that you like to do when you're under pressure, when the pressure's on you, like something like "I got this" or anything that you can help out if someone is under pressure or all eyes are on you? Not all at once.
Yeah, so breathing and staying in the moment. Because all life is a series of moments. And when you have to perform and get it done, you can't think about 10 minutes later. You can't think about what happened 10 minutes ago. You got to deal and handle now. Much easier said than done, but what helps, and sport really, I think speaking for all of us, taught us this, where I can only play this right now. That's all I got, that's all I can do. I can't do any more, I can't do less. And make this the best play I can do right now. Oh, okay, there's another play after that, and I'll deal with that then. Or that happened in the earlier quarter. And I believe it's the same thing in life, where focus on the now and do that as best you can. And then if you think about it, if you really just step back, all of us, and if you're living that way, you'll have a series of moments in your life that add up to your life where you've trained yourself to do the best I can now. And it turns into days, weeks, months, and years of your life. So, and breathing, I'm not gonna lie, I go back to the Karate Kid when Mr. Miyagi, and you guys are very young, but he always would say, take it back to the essentialness of life, which is just breathing and controlling your heart rate so that you can stay more calm. So, now, yes, Daniel, on now, you're old enough, yes. And it's true, the basic, simple thing of life, but focus on the now. And it is extremely hard, absolutely, because our minds race and all that stuff, and nobody's perfect at it, but you'd be amazed at the power that you have to do well in a single moment or a single few seconds.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. At this time, I want everyone to give our guests, we can hear them, I can stay all day long with you. Thank you so much. I'm just going to, you can stay there, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I just want to make some closing remarks here. First of all, let me hear from this side. How did it go today? How do you feel about today? What about our students from Carver? How does this side feel today? Do you think we should come back next year and do the event again? Okay, I love it. Well, again, special thanks to these wonderful athletes that have taken so much of their time to come here and speak to you. One more time for them, please.
Oh, yeah, no.
Let's also thank the volunteers and the judges and the lawyers that came and helped put this event together, and especially all the people that worked in the back scenes from here, from the chapel, and from the assistants and various law firms that volunteered their time in the last couple of months to make sure that we can make this event a success. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And of course, I'm going to leave the best for last. The Honorable Judge Simone Rowe. What a spectacular job. Thank you, Judge Rowe, for putting this event together. You did a wonderful job beating us up and making us work all these weeks. Okay? 3 o'clock a.m. in the morning talking, but it was wonderful. It's been my pleasure and privilege to participate here. I enjoy going to the schools all the time, but this is a big event, and we've had so much fun, and we were so excited that we finally got everything together in a short amount of time, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next few years. We're gonna beat the Carver record of 14 annual mock trials. We're gonna do this for the next 30 years, Judge Rowe, and if not, it'll be your legacy. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Well, Lee, we're going to take a group photograph. So if Ms. Miller, can you direct everybody, please? Yeah, take a group of them and then take a group photograph.